Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Hey everybody, some dumb guy here. Bear with me please, because I am a bit under the weather today. I am experiencing some dumb cold of minuscule proportions, fortunately, but sadly it's got me, a little subdued. Voice is a little bit hoarse. Please bear with me. But I had the absolute pleasure yesterday of going to the theater and watching Hard Eyes. Now, you go into a theater, sit down to watch what you expect to be a horror movie, and you end up watching a movie that's more 50% horror and 50% comedy. You're in for a wild ride. And this movie did not disappoint, I gotta say. Hard Eyes clocks in at a very briskly paced 1 hour and 37 minutes. It's directed by Josh Rubin. It has 3 writers, but this is a film that slaps on a lot of the traditional horror tropes and a kitty. But its dialogue is so wittily driven as to make this movie as much comedic as it is horrific. I remember in 2022 going to the theater, sitting down to watch the movie Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. This movie was very much billed as a horror comedy. And I sat down, I don't remember, I think maybe I'd seen a trailer for it. I sat down, and after 45 minutes, I walked out. One of the few times I've ever done that in my life. A movie that's billed as a horror comedy, and yet the first 45 minutes of this film is nothing more than a group of so-called friends sitting in a Richie mansion in the middle of a really intense storm, doing nothing more than being absolute bastards to one another. That was the only horror I saw, and there were certainly no comedic elements. So I got up, walked into an in-progress showing of Top Gun Maverick to cleanse my palate, walked out of that thing. If I had known Hard Eyes was going to be a horror comedy, I might not have actually ventured in to watch that one, because Bodies, Bodies, Bodies left such a nasty taste in my mouth. I never wanted to repeat that experience again. So thank you for not making that abundantly clear in the trailers. That was a very, very pleasant surprise. Now, suffering through the Internet Movie Database here again, which I don't know what the deal is with this website. Its formatting is completely different on my iPad than it would be if I looked up on my iPhone. And I don't mean just the layout, but the cast and crew. I was looking this up on my phone after I got out, familiarizing myself with the who's who and what's what. I go to do it on my iPad to look up the details, and the stars of the movie are listed completely different. For example, the 2 leads, Olivia Holt, absolutely stunning young lady too, I gotta mind you. Wow. She plays Allie. And then we have Mason Gooding, who plays Jay. IMDb has these 2 people halfway through the cast list. We've got baristas, reporters, and stunt doubles listed higher than them. What the hell? So, what we have here is a movie. It's an annual killing spree, basically, by an individual who is on this cross-state Valentine's Day killing extravaganza. Every holiday for the past 2 years, he's popped up in a different city across the country and killed couples. We have Allie and Jay, who are, let's just say, newly professional colleagues, having only met that day, and this day being Valentine's Day, who are, for lack of a better description, mistaken for a couple and targeted by a serial killer. And they spend their entire evening running for their lives. A lot of traditional horror tropes, a lot of new ones, all blended in seamlessly together with a really tightly paced, brisk run, interspersed with, I don't know how, but the most inappropriate humor and comedic dialogue exchanges that should never work in a movie like this. And it's just absolutely mind-blowing that everything landed. We have Jordana Brewster of Fast and Furious fame starring as a homicide detective in this film. And she's a very interesting character in her own right. She and her partner play detectives Hobbs and Shaw. Sorry, spoiler alert, but that's very much thrown into this film. And it's very much made light of as a joke when it's come to light as well. Which, again, in the whole grand scheme of what's going on in this film, that's not the kind of humor you would expect, nor in a self-aware referential type in story in the universe as well. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool. You've got characters making pretty darn solid decisions. Nobody's really being all that stupid. Refreshing, right? Still getting killed off. Some yes, some no. We have a fresh new look for a serial killer in this kind of vein that is unique yet works. There are some outlandish aspects of how this killer operates that don't quite work. There are others that work in a very cool, funny way, one of which is actually in the trailer. This movie's fun. This movie is absolutely fun. I'm sitting in a horror movie and I'm laughing my ass off while on a good ride. Things are still tense, but not overly so. There's nothing scary about this horror movie per se, but there's nothing scary about a Friday the 13th film either, or a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. You know what you're in for. You get it. It's satisfying. The comedic value is icing on the cake. It's great. Performances are solid. Like I said, Olivia Holt, my type of woman right there. I'm just saying. Go see Hard Eyes. If you got something not going on this weekend, go see Hard Eyes. You want to go see a movie? You want to have a fun time? Please, by all means, go see this movie. It's a great time. Will absolutely add this one to my library when it comes out on physical media. Looking forward to that release. Yeah, go see Hard Eyes.